Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's inspiration. Today, we will be talking about inspiring your creativity. Inspiring your creativity. Really, 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 you know what's coming next. I'm really excited about today's topic. Please introduce yourself as you come into the room. Are you a regular? Is this your first time? What draws you to the subject of creativity? It was invited by, during one of our inspirations and live streams last week, said, hey, let's talk about creativity. And it's such an interesting one. And before I do my work, Tracy, third time, love the topic, making things move, fantastic. Yes, that's Cosmos coming in, decided to join us. When I first started and thought about what are we going to talk about today, how am I going to sort of, you know that I do my preamble, and how am I going to sort of set up this whole thing about creativity? How are we going to approach creativity? First, I started thinking about it really, really, really linearly. Hello, Valerie. Hello. Yes, I'd say you're a regular right now too. I'm glad that you're excited by this topic, and you are a very creative person. Fantastic, fantastic. And this is what the first thing that I did. So like I said, I started to say, when I started to think about how are we gonna approach this? How do we sort of set the basis for what we're gonna talk about? And at first I started going really linearly, thinking about the chakras. I usually like to start thinking about the chakras, and the sacral chakra, it's the second one, the sacral or sacral, whatever you want to say, but it's your second chakra where they say that's creativity comes from. So I'm like, okay, orange light, we look at that. What is it that's blocking creativity? It's usually guilt. And I said, okay, great. And also emotional, we carry a lot of emotion. So I started to sort of explore it from the chakra level, which is interesting. I'm like, okay, it's where we hold our guilt. Okay, it's where we hold our emotional. It's where we value and have our self-worth for the pleasures and the abundance in life. Like, interesting, but I just didn't feel like it nailed it enough. Especially since today's topic is inspiring creativity. So I said, okay, well, inspiration, that's our third eye. Comes from this chakra, our third eye chakra. And our third eye chakra is about intuition and allowing and flowing. And so now we're talking about the spiritual. So everything above the heart chakra is spiritual, and everything below the heart chakra is physical. So I'm like, okay, beautiful, Manal. Creativity, inspiring creativity, creates a merge between the physical experiences, the physical us, and the spiritual us. Sporty Jen, hello to you, hello. I hope I'm not jumping into this too quickly, and I know everybody's still coming into the room, but are you with me so far? Are you enjoying the way that we're going straight into this? So yes, we could say it's the second chakra at work, and we could say it's the sixth chakra at work, but ultimately what I realized, it's the physical and our judgment on our physical. So the first thing that Valerie said is, I am a very creative person. So what is the judgment that you all hold on your creativity? Because it's no different than self-image. Now it became no different than death, no different than self-image, no different than body image and intuitive eating. It really became about judgment. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are all so unique. So having a judgment on your creativity is then talking about whether or not we are good enough. Tracy, beautiful, not enough time. Creativity takes time. Fantastic. And that's where I started to get to, you guys are so teeing me up, is that what are the physical blocks that are keeping us from withholding or feeling that we're in alignment with creativity? So not enough time, Tracy, it's all about, I think you know this, freedom. Time and freedom are directly correlated. Your belief in time and lack of time is all about freedom, and ultimately it comes to death, which is what we talked about on Tuesday. So that we don't have enough time shortage consciousness. So it's like fantastic. Creativity is another one of those that's a blend of freedom and worthiness and happiness. And maybe all of the topics are in some way, but some are so much more ingrained in this. So this is going to be so fun for us all to talk about what are our limiting beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and being on our inspired creativity, and to release them collectively so we can come back to a place of high vibe, high vibration, alignment, allowing. So you guys like this? You guys like this so far? So this is what I was sort of like last night. I was in bed because I had some things going on in the morning and I couldn't do my preamble this morning. So I said, Manal, let's just sort of tee this up so you're comfortable with the approach. So then I started to say, okay, Manal, let's define creativity. What does creativity mean? So let's talk about this. What does creativity mean to you all? Like anything else, it starts with definition. So what I always like to do is, what is the desired state, creativity, and what is the undesired? So let's start with the desired state. What does creativity mean? Expressing. Tracy, brilliant. Expression was one of the words that I kept coming up with too yesterday. Expression of your true self. Beautiful, beautiful. And what blocks, I might merge the two because it's just, I feel like we're in there and you guys are all saying you're with me and we're aligned. Okay, what blocks your expression? Yes, very much resonating. My belief is that I am not good enough. Valerie, fantastic. My perfectionism comes up in comparing to others. Beautiful, beautiful. And what is that, Valerie? Self-worth, self-worth. So it's our self-worth. It's our judgment. It's our self-sabotage, failure of success, failure of failure, fear of failure, fear of failure, fear of success. Beautiful, beautiful. We are getting right to this. I knew that I wanted to go beyond the chakras. I knew. Tracy, anxiety. Okay, Tracy, were you on the anxiety call? Anxiety is a fear that we're not willing to acknowledge. Let's go straight to it. What is it that you're fearful of? Meg, it's your first time. Don't worry if you're late. Tell me if you need me to repeat or explain anything. A lot of the regulars know my approach, and so I've got in deep, but anything you want to ask, please, Meg, ask, because this is going to be fascinating today. So exciting. Sporty Jen, hey, Manal, I think I might be a little bit creative. There we go. There's a judgment. A little bit creative, because my premise is we're all creative. If you guys tell me with hearts and whether you want to, I know we might not feel it yet. I know we're going at the beliefs, but couldn't we all accept that, hey, what the heck? We're all unique. We're all uniquely creative. We all express ourselves in different ways. We're all amazing. Can we have that premise? Can we have that premise that we are all uniquely creative and it's all about finding that expression, finding that true expression? Sporty Jen, I just finished brick wallpapering a card box for my cats. Beautiful. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I would love for you to share that. But there we go. You're also defining creativity by craft. But creativity comes in many different ways. For me, my voice today, I would say that it's creative. Those that are singing, whether it's opera or rock or whoever it might be, absolutely creative. I don't know why Justin Bieber came into my mind, but man, when he was younger and he first came out and his mom was showing him off on YouTube, that kid had an art and was creative, artistic creativity through dance, through business. Business is a wonderful vehicle for creativity. So let's understand what our maybe constrained definition of creativity might be, and expand it for our approach to life. Because the way we all approach life can be considered creative. So maybe we need to expand the lens of what creativity means, which means we can embrace it as we are. Valerie, your worthiness, it's your worthiness. Fantastic. My worthiness, fantastic. That was resonating with you. A couple comments about that came down to your worthiness. Tracy, it's blocked by having goals. So talk to me about goals. Does that goals means that I have to be serious in life? Does goals mean, because we want to get to your anxiety, does it mean creative people just do it no matter? To work with me, Tracy. I still want to know what you're blocked by. What is your anxiety? We want to get down to it. Making things less playful. So it's that you have to be serious and there's a judgment on creativity and not good enough, not good enough. So is there a judgment on being creative? Means that you're like free and you don't have responsibilities, and it means that you're not serious. What are the judgments that we hold on creative? Positive and negative. Thank you, Meg. I love your energy. She says, thank you, thank you. I hope that you join in and become part of the community, because we have a wonderful community, and we're all growing. Because at the end of the day, Sporty Jen says, I think I have a lack of confidence. What will people think? Fantastic. At the end of the day, it's all about us calibrating, you all know, to worthiness, to freedom, and to happiness. And creativity is no different. And I actually broke it down and I drew it out yesterday. Everything below the heart chakra, I sort of felt like, this is our physical expression, and this is our worthiness in play, our worthiness at play. And then the heart chakra is obviously the heart and the love. And then everything above I felt was freedom, the freedom to express, the freedom to share, the freedom to be, the freedom. And Tracy is saying now, judgment, not committed enough. So is it your judgment on yourself or other people's judgment on yourself? What is keeping you from that creativity and that freedom? Let's get to it. Ray, does creativity include learning new skills, playing piano, for instance? Yes, that's what we want to define today, especially as this helicopter goes through. Creativity includes everything. Creativity means how we make breakfast, how we make lunch, how we make dinner, how we approach life, how we drive the car, how we get to school, how life just flows for us, how we interact with people, how we make our life easy, how we make our life difficult, how we do life, how we enjoy life, the pleasures we do. Creativity to me now means everything. The way we approach life with zeal and happiness. And can we define creativity then broader than the crafts, broader than dance, broader than music? Could we look at ourselves as creators? Creativity is an element of creation. So Tracy says that the judgment is on herself. Fantastic. Judgment of not good enough. Judgment of not worthy. That's worthy. That's worthiness and worthiness. Just like Valerie is talking about worthiness. So I want us all to see that at the root of our judgment on creativity is our lack of worthiness. Sporty Jen, fabulous. The creators of our destiny. Fantastic, right? What does creativity mean? Let's define it. Ray is helping us. What does creativity mean? Meg, I think I'm creative because I put my own spin on everything, as it's what I feel seems right. But I'm also very OCD, so I often get stuck and I can't even create. Fantastic. That's actually fantastic. So there's a few things in there. One, you judge yourself as, hey, I own myself. I'm going to walk my walk. I'm going to talk my talk. I'm going to be my be. And I feel good in that. But there's a label of OCD. And Meg, as you start to know me, you're going to see that I come from 4 bodies: egoic body, mental body, emotional body, and physical body. Egoic body is where we hold our identity and beliefs. And I recognize that OCD, and there's a lot of different labels that we give ourselves. And those labels are comfortable because they help us understand ourselves. And I will never say those labels are bad. Okay, I never want anybody to misunderstand and misrepresent that I'm saying they're bad. But if we allow those labels to define us more than I am, then we get stuck. So what I would always offer, and Meg, tell me if this resonates, and if it doesn't, I want to keep working on it till it aligns with your understanding, and then we can move to the feeling of it, is, yes, there are some characteristics that you have adopted that ultimately create a loop and a cycle of maybe getting out of the flow that you have been in. But that's part of your conditioning, that's part of who you are, and that's part of your growth and expansion opportunity. So your opportunity to become aware of it, and then acknowledge that, oh, this OCD is actually teaching me to become free. This OCD is actually teaching me to ultimately to get unstuck, to find my freedom, to be free, to be the truth of who I am, to be my creator, to be creative. I hyper-focus on cleaning. I overwork a painting. Beautiful. That's about control. Can you see that, Meg? And can you feel it? Maybe you guide us. What is the underlining energy behind that? What is that underlining energy? This is fantastic. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And then I also want everybody to think, if you can relate to Meg, tell me what's the underlining energy behind hyper focus on cleaning, overworking on things, control, lack of trust, lack of freedom, perfectionism. So that's like the lack of worthiness, that I'm not perfect, so I'm not worthy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And none of it is bad. None of this is bad. All of this is fantastic conditioning that's helping us to become and grow into better beings. Desire for acceptance, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Ray, you know, desire for acceptance, looking external outside of you, is worthiness. If I need you to tell me I'm good, that's worthiness. And I was trapped in that for a long time. Actually, I still am. The other day, my dad said to me, I was talking to him about something, and he's like, Manal, he didn't say it in this way, but he's like, you got to stop looking for other people to validate whether you're right or wrong. It's got to be from you. So he was talking about parenting. And I was like, wow, Dad, thank you. I recognize that I was doing it, but it's really nice to hear it from you. So he's like, you can't look for us to back you up on what you believe is right or wrong. Your word has to be strong enough. And it's a pattern I had sort of patterned into, and I was aware of it and hadn't broken that cycle yet. And my dad pointing out to me enabled me to become more aware of it and recognize, okay, now when somebody sees something about me and points it out, it's even more motivation for that shift. So the desire for acceptance is giving your power away to other people rather than being aligned with your inner power. So we want to be aligned with our inner power. We want to be in flow with ourselves. We want to be in flow. Sporty Jen says good parenting. My dad parenting me. That's the good parenting. My dad parenting me. Okay, Meg, shame is my root of everything, but control is really a good point. Shame was my root of everything. So fantastic. And control, there's another helicopter. They're very active today. Let me let it go through. Shame is one of mine too, and shame has always been one of mine. And shame is the third chakra, so the abdomen, the solar plexus. So shame keeps us from doing things. And control is really one of mine too. So shame and control. So Meg, it sounds like a lot of anyway, we're all human. It all comes out in different ways, and we all have the same ultimately resistance because we're conditioned in one world. And some of us have more and less of others because that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us creative. Is what makes us awesome, unique, perfect, the people that we are. Valerie, perfectionism, lack of trust. Great. Perfectionism, again, that's worthiness. That's not feeling good enough. I am not worthy. And lack of trust, a lack of allowing, lack of freedom, I would say. So again, the premise I'm going to get us back to, and where these feelings are, these are more intellectual. We're going to get at the emotional element of it. But if you guys can feel it when we're talking about it, you've all been, most of you, Meg, I know you haven't, but most of you, and I see a lot of similar pictures below. I looked up what the pictures are called, profile pictures or your avatars. There we go. I keep calling them emojis. They're not emojis. They're profile pictures and avatars. So all your profile pictures and avatars, I see a lot of familiar pictures and some that aren't. But those of you that have done my meditations, you know that when a feeling comes up, we don't need to be in meditation. That when we're talking right now, and Valerie, you feel that perfectionism, and Meg, you felt the shame, and Ray, the desire for acceptance. If you guys felt it in that moment, what I'd like you to do during our lives, and I've never said this before because I guess we're all now more familiar with ourselves, and Meg, you'll get caught up, and anybody else that's new, you'll get caught up. If you feel an emotional response when we're in our lives, take a moment to feel it. Become aware of where you physically feel it in your body. Everybody do it right now. I'm sure there's some sort of emotion that has come up that's resistant. Let's look at the resistance. And everybody, if you want to share what you felt and where you felt it, it's helpful for everybody. So shame, we talked about. We talked about perfectionism. We talked about lack of worthiness. We talked about not enough time. Where did that show up in your body physically? For me, always here. You guys know that you that know me. I always talk about it here during my lives. Always I can start to feel things here. It's my need to control, for everything to be perfect, for me to be perfect, for me to talk, for me to make sure that the camera is doing what it needs to do. My voice isn't too loud, that I'm presenting, I'm connecting, and that I'm reading and I'm doing. So I've got all these things that are going, my intellectual, but it's not my intellect that's speaking, it's my connection to greater. So I have to also be an allowing, but ultimately I feel the energy here. And when I feel the energy here, it's a sense of desire for control and my perfection. Beautiful. Ray, always in my gut. We talked about that. Fantastic. Go to your gut. Christine, same. Jaw and throat. Fantastic. Throat and jaw is our inability to express ourselves freely. Expression. Who was it? Was it Tracy that said expression, or Valerie in the very beginning that said it's all about creativity, is all about the expression, self-expression of your truth? Me, Tracy, fantastic. Tracy. So anything that's constrained in here, the jaw, the throat, the neck, is all about not being expressive. Sporty Jen and Ray. Sporty Jen are both in their tummy. Sporty Jen, my tummy again. We didn't finish. I felt guilty, Sporty Jen, that we didn't finish talking about your tummy on Tuesday, but we'll get to it today. My tummy again. I went from joy to sadness earlier today. Was very aware of it. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So go into your abdomen, go into your gut, whether it's internal or external. That's where shame is held. Okay, shame, and your lack of ability and capability. So here it's our lack of expression and not to be able to express ourselves truly, holding back from our truth. Our abdomen is shame, and our judgment on our inability, our ability to do things. Okay, beautiful. Eyebrow, beautiful. Meg, you talked about the eyebrows, your third eye. And so the eyebrow is ultimately going to be that you're in disillusion. So the third eye is what's opening up to and connection to bigger, the expression of receiving knowledge outside. So that's where you sort of label them. I'm inferring. If you don't like it, tell me. But the resistance to the flow of information, the control, the lack of trust is going to be felt in here. Beautiful. And you also said jaw, back and neck. Beautiful. Delusion. Well, delusion. Yeah, it's disillusion rather than delusion. But I think disillusion is delusion, but disillusion, because ultimately here is where we see our third eye. We see the other dimensions. I love the third eye. I love the third eye. Shoulders, Deborah, beautiful. Carrying the weight of the world. The shoulders comes into the heart chakra, and that's where sadness and betrayal and anger is being carried. So beautiful. So you feel that in your shoulders. Wonderful. So feel the energy. And I want us to feel it from a place of pleasure. For us to take note of our physical expression, and the emotional association of it is liberating. It is not bad. We have been conditioned to see it as bad. We have conditioned to see it as bad because we resist it. The play we do together, do you guys like it? I said play, not work right away. The play that we do together, is ultimately acknowledge it, become aware of it. We're going to become aware of it. We become. Sporty said, Jen said earlier she felt it in her abdomen and she became aware of it. Fantastic. Awareness. And if we just start with awareness, that's perfect. We don't need to do more. We will ultimately do more, because the last is letting go and surrender. But in the beginning, if you have not cleaned up shop, we've used the analogy the last few times of cleaning. If we clean our kitchen every day, it's going to be easy to clean it. But if we need to clean our garage and it's every 6 months or every 9 months or every year, it's going to be a mess. So depending on our body and how comfortable we have been with becoming aware of the physical aspects and the emotional aspects, it might be easy to go beyond awareness quickly, or we might just need to sit a bit longer in awareness. There is no judgment on time. It's our life. We have our whole life to get free and to worthy and to be happy. And if we were unconditionally, fully worthy, free, and happy now, we'd likely be dead soon. So that's the positive aspect. It means that we need to go somewhere. Sporty Jen, creative thinking. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so now that we are aware of the physical and the emotional, now that we're aware of the physical and emotion, what we want to do is start to acknowledge what is it sharing with us. I've already shared with many of you. We might start with what it's telling us. The resistance might be telling us, oh, this hurts. Oh, I feel like I can't speak my truth. There might be instances when you close your eyes and connect to your body, you might remember specific events in your life. On Tuesday, when we went into and we were talking about death, there was a reminder of a pet dying when he was 5. And so when you go into the physical and the emotional, you can connect with past stories, because every physical expression and emotional body in your body has a story and an imprint from something that has happened in your past life. And if you believe in past lives, there can be imprints of your past lives. There can be imprints from your ancestors, genetic imprints, and things from your womb on. It's fascinating. So just go into that physical body, go into your emotional body, and see what your body tells you. See what you connect with. Do you connect with emotions? With stories? Does somebody pop into your mind? An incident? You at a certain age, which we sort of talk about our inner child work. And again, we're talking about creativity today. Some people are going to see it. Some of us are going to just know it. Some of us are going to feel it. All of our senses are open, and it can come to us in any way, and just trust. Tracy's having computer wacko issues when she's trying to listen to me. I don't know what that means, but I hope it resolves, Tracy. Maybe it means you're not supposed to hear what I'm saying, but I think you do. Yes, you have a lot of energy. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so are you guys connecting with things? So once you be acknowledged, now I want us to acknowledge that these incidents that we're connecting with are here to help us grow and expand. We may have had negative associations with these stories. We may have said before that these are bad, that these are negative things that happen to us, that this is traumatic. We might have a lot of words that we use for it, which is all valid in the physical realm. The work we do together, I just called it work, the play we do together is in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, all of this has a reason. It's all guiding us to growth and expansion. And when we take the moment to pause, to become aware, to feel, to grow from it, then we can acknowledge whether it's pointing us to our worthiness, to our freedom, or to unconditional love. And then we just appreciate life. We appreciate ourselves. We appreciate the signals. We appreciate what the body is telling us. And then we let go and surrender. Let go, let go. So if everybody was with me and we're doing their connection and you want to let go of the energy, now let go. Let go. And there's any way you could let go. You want to shake it off. You want to rub it off. You want to breathe in. Breathe in the universal light. Breathe in infinite unconditional love and worthiness and freedom. And then let go of all the resistance. All the resistance. And the point is, once you start to acknowledge what that resistance is and start to appreciate and love it, that resistance no longer holds on, because it's no longer anger or sadness or shame or lack of worthiness. It now is a conduit for growth and expansion, which means you've given it love, and now it's pure love and beauty and happiness and acceptance and surrender. And ultimately, everything in life happens through acceptance and surrender and love and compassion. My course, the Compassion series, is coming out very soon. And it's all about engaging the heart. Compassion series. Okay, how is everybody feeling? I see the hearts coming up. How is everybody feeling? How are you feeling? What stories? Do you want to share anything that came up for you? I know we're still talking about creativity and we went into the body, and I still want to talk about what does creativity mean? And I also want to talk about what the opposite of creativity is. What the opposite. Meg, I found that I clenched my fists. Laugh out loud for no apparent reason. Fantastic. No, there is a reason, and we're going to get at that reason. And so let's ask what that reason is. What is it that you're holding in? What is it that you're not allowing? Cause right, what is clenching your fists? It's holding a resistance. It's holding an energy. It's not allowing yourself to flow. What we want to do is flow and allow, because no matter what topic we're talking about today, we're talking about creativity. Everything comes back to allowing our flow. The chakras is all about flowing. It's all about energy. It's all about flowing of your energy. So Meg, do you want to ask yourself, and do you want to explore, what is it that you're keeping from flowing? What are you, control? I would say holding is controlling as well. Explore and see what resonates with you, okay? Share it with us. And anybody else that feels that they're holding in, their bodies are tight, because clenching your fist is a very obvious, apparent way, but we could also be holding it into our body, holding it into our shoulders. How many times have I gotten a massage and the guy's like, whoa, you've got a lot of tension in your shoulders, and I have not even realized? Sporty Jen, it's really fascinating. It's my birthday, and Ray is wishing you a happy birthday. Now I see how he knows. It's my birthday today, and I have a range of feelings. It's also my twin's birthday today. I feel turmoil in my tummy. I get to acknowledge it there. Feels quite freeing. Beautiful, beautiful, Sporty Jen. And it's difficult to share a twin, and your birthday is a reminder of his loss. And what we want to start to find and shift, and it's going to take as long as it's going to take, Sporty Jen. But let me ask you, what is the ultimate feeling that you would like to have about your twin? What is it that ultimately that you would like to feel when you think about your twin? And I'm glad that you're feeling and aware of it, and you're free. A third helicopter. What's going on today, guys? Tracy, once you identify, how do you address the judgments to clear it? Tracy, feel the judgments. Feel the judgments. Just sort of feel it. Recognize that's a judgment. Acknowledge that the judgment, the lack of desire, a judgment, and what you desire is worthiness, freedom. Judgment could be freedom, and it could be worthiness, happiness, and hold your energy of that judgment not as something bad, but it's something that you're here to figure out and to clear and to grow from. There's that game that you stick your fingers in, that Chinese toy, and the only way that you let go, get your fingers out, is by releasing pressure and surrendering, and it comes out. I always talk about it, and I always forget to look it up, so I can say exactly what it is, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So in there, that's what I want you to do with your judgment, is to accept it and to surrender to it. And once you accept and surrender, then it's no longer judgment. The energy shifts. So the energy that you're feeling is your judgment on your judgment, not the judgment. Because if we accept the judgment, now it's acceptance, not judgment. Did you get me on that one? Tracy, tell me if you got that, and see if you can shift from judgment to acceptance. Ray, yes, there's an Air Force base nearby, but it's usually not this active, so it's interesting. Tracy, fantastic, you do follow. So see where you can shift. That judgment's not bad. You're aware of it. Ask yourself what you're judging. Judging yourself, judging time. Recognize whether it's worthiness or freedom or happiness. Feel into it. Honor the feeling. Recognize whether it's something that you've had forever, and just sort of go through your timeline of you carrying that energy, and just tell that energy, I'm going to see you now and recognize you now and love you now and recognize that you're here for my growth. You really, again, we know it's not intellectual, it's feeling. So we have to shift the feeling. So when we talk, obviously I'm talking on it intellectually, but I think my vibe is lifting us all, and we're shifting emotionally. So even though I'm mostly speaking intellectually and you guys are connecting intellectually, the shift can only happen on the emotional level. And I think my high vibration and our willingness to shift our beliefs and our beliefs in the things that I'm saying, that it resonates with truth, allows your emotions to shift. But we can't do this intellectually. And Sporty Jen, do you remember on Tuesday you would say a lot of things and you would turn around and say, but XYZ. And I'm like, well, Sporty Jen, I don't want you to shift to logic yet. I want you to stay in your body and acknowledge all the feelings, because we can't logic out of our feelings. We need to feel out of our feelings. So Tracy, tell me if that answered your question, and go through the judgment in your body and see whether or not you could find it slowly releasing. And again, think about the analogy of the attic or the garage. If you haven't cleaned up in a while, it's just going to take the time. Take your time. Exactly. I love that. You have to feel your way out. Totally resonating. Great. It's like a maze. It's like our bodies is a maze. It's like a game. I actually realized, wow, this is a fascinating game that's happening. We pick up all these things. We pick up all these things in life when we're truly dependent. It's the architecture of life. And then we are ashamed of how we grew up and where we came from and who we are and the people that surrounded us and what happened. But this is the architecture of life. So let's try to find a way that we see it from an empowering lens, so we can grow, and expand from it. And that's what I believe the meaning of life is: growth and expansion. Growth and expansion, growth and expansion. You guys, you hear me. The message is the same. The message is the same. We come in from different ways and different doors, and we talk about different stories. But at the end of the day, the message is the same. Let's grow and expand together. Let's have fun growing and expanding. Let's recognize it's all about finding and growing to unconditional worthiness and freedom and love. And let's have fun doing it. Life is amazing. Let's let go of the story that life is struggle and life is suffer and life is difficult. Life is brilliant. Life is beautiful. Life has a really interesting architectural design. And I'm going to make the most of the resources that was given to me from day one to become the best version of myself today. And everything that's happened to me has happened to me. It is what it is. And whether it's past lives, whether it's ancestral, genetic, whether it just is what it is, it just doesn't really matter. It's what I have. It's all I have to work from. Sporty Jen. I was waiting for this answer. Manal, I'd like to feel comfortable to talk about Robbie without feeling sad, awkward. I want to feel joy and happiness around my brother. Fantastic. So there's our intention. So everybody, if you have something that you're having trouble accepting, you have a lot of energy around something, let's create our intention. Let's, instead of it being the elephant in the room, Sporty Jen, is it sometimes the elephant in the room? Instead of letting Robbie be the elephant in the room, or Robbie be and even me saying, Robbie, I want it to bring out your happiness and your joy, and that we can talk about him and talk about our love and see that he's an amazing teacher for you. He's an amazing teacher for you. And he's teaching you to go in rather than out. And he's teaching you to find love and self-life and unconditional love. And maybe he sacrificed himself for you. Maybe he was sacrificing himself for you and for your family members to really learn what life is all about. So if anybody has an elephant in the room, let's see the elephant. Let's feel the elephant. So Sporty Jen is going to feel the sadness, feel the awkwardness, feel it, see it, taste it. What do I say? Use all your senses. Smell it. Use all your senses to connect with that sadness and that awkwardness, and people not knowing what to say to you, and you not knowing what to say to people, and this awkward energy, and he's your everything and been there for you, and now he's not. And then just recognize, hey, I want to shift this, and I want to feel the joy and the happiness about my brother. I want to feel the love, the connection, the amazement. And slowly, when Sporty Jen, you keep seeing that sadness and awkwardness and create that intention for love and joy and pleasure, you'll start to see that shift. And I already see that shift in you because I'm starting to see your willingness to speak about the energy and your desire to shift it. So me, Manal, I am already feeling that shift in you. And I think it's beautiful. Tracy, yes, I love that. You have to feel your way out. Feel your way out and just take your time, take your time, take your time. And Sporty Jen, I think you're speaking to me saying that you logic your way out. We all do it in some ways. We can't logic our way out. When there have been times when I've been struggling with a certain issue in my life, my friends that tell me intellectually what I already know, it doesn't help. I'm like, folks, this isn't helping. I know all of this intellectually. I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. So we can't intellectualize. And that's why I don't always like affirmations, because you can't affirm what you don't feel. And that's why a lot of my affirmations go straight to the moon and the stars and the solar system and the universe. And I go to things which I believe should create the least amount of resistance within us. And then I slowly work my way. So it's like I'm working from big, 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 big. And then I feel like the high vibration. And then I go specific. But there's a very clear intention of trying to be as general as we can, as I can, to minimize a reaction of resistance, because the shift happens emotionally. Beautiful, beautiful. Sporty Jen says I can use Robbie's name and that she loves that I say it. Fantastic. And I'd like us to start saying Robbie and Robbie and Robbie, and we feel the beauty of who he was and the joy of who he is and the connection that you had and the beauty in your relationship, the beauty in the twin, and that you hold today as a day of celebration, of joy, of beauty, and of joy, of love and fortune that you had him in your life. I think having a twin is one of the most beautiful things in the world. You don't have anybody else that's so connected with you on that timeline. And his ended before yours. It's going to happen. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, although some teachers are like, they want to disrespect death, and I don't ever want to, but death is going to happen. Death is going to happen. And he ended his before yours, but it's because he was your teacher. And just thank him. Thank him. And know he's with you, and he can only be with you when you're aligned. He can only be with you when you're aligned. So maybe you should start playing the game, Sporty Jen, of seeing clues of Robbie being with you. Seeing when a song comes up. Today, invite him being there in some way. A song that brings you joy, that connects you to him, something that you eat or a flavor that comes back to him. Why don't you start to count the number of times that there's a message or a connection from him that can give you joy and take you back to those days of joy? Beautiful. Meg put an emoji of an elephant in the room. At first I can tell what that was. It was so small on my screen. Beautiful. Let's find the elephants and celebrate the elephants. Valerie, my elephant in the room currently is that I've come to the conclusion that I have to surrender to being powerlessness against addiction. Beautiful. Can I shift that a bit? Valerie, can I shift that a bit? I don't know if it's powerlessness against addiction. I think it's an alignment with your inner power rather than powerlessness to addiction. And you can start to first see it as powerless. So yes, starting to see that you're powerless against addiction is the first step. That's what you do not want. So in the acknowledgement process, where what is undesired, yes, undesired is an addiction. And then you'll say powerlessness to addiction, and that's about freedom. So powerlessness is about freedom. Could be about worthiness as well. But then ultimately what we want to get to is alignment with our inner power. Alignment with ourself, alignment with greater, and that alignment is the most incredible power that there is. An addiction is usually about freedom. It's also about worthiness, but addiction is about worthiness and freedom. So if you want to come back, I'd like you to keep moving along. And if you need a pause there for a bit, powerlessness against addiction, which is sort of a surrender, an awareness, an acceptance. That's just part of the journey, but it's not where it's not the best place for you to end. Valerie, is it resonating? I'm seeing hearts go along, but what we want to get to is your unlimited freedom and your unlimited worthiness. And when you get to that, the word powerlessness, powerless, and addiction are not part of it. Tell me if that resonates and tell me if you want to go deeper. Sporty Jen, I'm glad this is resonating with you too. Wow, this is all so true. Yes, this is beautiful. I like that. Beautiful. So, fantastic, Sporty Jen. Fantastic, fantastic. I want us to start talking about Robbie, about joy and pleasure and kindness and heart and beauty. Kay is sharing a quote with Sporty Jen. Fantastic. Valerie, yes, it's just a realization I made this week. And I've been a little stuck on the emotional body because it just brings up so many feelings. Yeah, it's not where I'd want you to stay for a long time because it's disempowering. But I do see the empowerment to allow you to accept and surrender. But it's part of it's the logic to move you to where you need to go. So you know how we're like, okay, life is struggle, but no, everything is here to teach us something. Okay, it teaches us, okay, now we're happy, now we're free. So it's part of the logic and shifting that gets us where we want to go. Okay, you're ready to move and ready to make that shift. Okay, Valerie says, yes, it's just a realization I made this week and I've been a little stuck on the emotional body because it just brings up so many feelings. Okay, Valerie, fantastic. We talked about stuck on Tuesday. Stuck is not acknowledging the feelings that you're feeling. So when you're saying stuck, it's just sort of like, I just don't want to feel the feelings that I'm feeling and I'm just going to stay here. So what is the feelings that you've been feeling? Let's talk about this. Let's bring it up and let's calibrate. Let's calibrate. Let us calibrate. And everybody, if you're resonating with any of these stories, when I ask the questions, put in your answers. It's all about us because all of us have feelings of addiction, whether it's food and drink or drug or whatever it might be. It's that feeling of hopelessness and powerlessness and needing to give yourself away is something that we all do on different scales, on different levels. Meg, it's very true. You have to be extremely powerful to work, play. Beautiful. I know I say work, but it's actually play with your addictions and quit your substances. Beautiful. Valerie, beautiful. Anger, a lot of shame and sadness. That's where you need to be. To feel the anger, to feel the shame, to feel the sadness, to feel the rainbow of those expressions, and to see a way of honoring them, celebrating them, and loving them, because those are the catalysts for you to find your freedom. I'm committed to staying clean. Just the addict label feels alien to me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because ultimately, whatever you need to hold on to help you stay connected to your truth is what we want to do. And we don't want to plow through quickly through your process. But ultimately, you know what I am with the egoic level. I want you to be I am. I do not want any of us to carry addict. I don't want us to carry powerlessness. I don't want us to carry addiction. I don't want us to be control. I want us to be in alignment, allowing, acceptance, beauty, surrender. So if you're going to avoid the anger and the shame and the sadness, and they might be overwhelming. So take your time at doing each of them individually, slowly. Just take your time. Again, if we haven't cleaned the garage in a long time, we don't need to do it in an hour. We can't do it in an hour. But you're sort of create your intention, just like Sporty Jen created the intention. I want to think of Robbie from a place of joy and happiness and love. Valerie, what is it that you want to see yourself as? There we go. I was going to just tell you, but no, you tell me. Valerie, how do you want to see yourself? And everybody, today it's about creativity, and we're talking about death, and we're talking about addiction. What is it that we want to see ourselves as? Yes, the meetings I go to, I feel like I have to commit to, I'm Valerie, I'm an addict, which is fantastic because the awareness of you as an addict is the way to get out of being an addict. It is an important element in your, I'm going to use the word, in your healing. In your healing. But when we're healing, there's something still broken. We want to move into your health, into your strength, into your inner power. So calling yourself and recognizing that there is an addiction energy that you have is an important path to your liberation, because you have to be able to see yourself for what you are. Oh, wow, I use substances as a way of numbing myself out. I use substances as a way to not feel. I use substance a way to get away from reality. I use substance for different things. It's difficult to call yourself an addict. Beautiful, beautiful. What we want to get to a point that it's not difficult to call yourself an addict. You are aware of it, and now you don't even need to call yourself. So as long as it's difficult to call yourself an addict, it recognizes still energy that we can work through. So I'm not trying to say, I don't want you to say I'm an addict. It's along the journey of liberating yourself from addiction. But the what I'm suggesting is pick up all the energy that you feel and work with that energy. Work with the shame, work with the anger, work with the thing. Because at this point, if I asked everybody in the room to say they're an addict, I am an addict, not most people, maybe, I don't know how many percent of the people, let's not give a most or a least or a yes or a no, won't have a reaction to that. So as long as you say I'm an addict and there's some sort of emotional reaction, then saying I'm an addict is liberating. Not being an addict and not holding yourself as an addict, but saying I am an addict and working out that energy. So the point is that if calling yourself something brings you resistance, it's a great conduit for helping you clean up that resistance. Is this good, guys? Is it clear? Because I don't want you to be an addict, and I don't want you to say you are an addict, but if when you say I am an addict, it has energy within you and you hold energy, then it's a great tool for you to use because it's cleaning yourself up. Beautiful. Then as long as there's a resistance, you keep saying I'm an addict and you work at that resistance. Not at the fact that you're an addict, that you look at that resistance. Oh, there's the anger. Oh, there's the shame. Neil, beautiful. Addict and habit are the same things. It's just a different level of it. Beautiful. I think you guys are with me because I want to make sure this comes out really clear, because I think it's really powerful to say I am an addict if you are having addictional, that's not a word, but behaviors that are extreme, that are hurting you physically and emotionally and mentally and physically. It is the way. But I don't want you to egoically believe that you are, but you use it as a tool to work out the emotions. You use it as a tool to find the anger, the shame, the judgment. Beautiful. Beautiful. And like Neil says, it's more of a habit. If it's a habit, it's the same thing. Oh, I got a habit of biting my nails. Oh, when I do it, I feel ashamed. Oh, look at that shame. Where did that shame come from? Oh, wow. When I was younger, my mom would do this, or my dad would do this, or I'd go to school and they taught me this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Boom. You start to unwind from it until you come to a place of worthiness and a place of I am. And if you got to say I'm an addict for a year before you're clear and you let go of your resistance, Valerie, that's fine. That's fine. Just honor the process. Neil, yes, many times it's automatic, and that's why step one is awareness. Step one is awareness. So I am an addict is a really strong awareness, because the energy, the meaning, the whatever it is behind calling yourself an addict is very strong. So for Valerie, your willingness to say I'm an addict is indication of your strength. So that's another thing. You said powerlessness to addiction. Yes, in the past your behavior was, but now you're going to align with your inner power and do your energy and your emotional work to ultimately find your worthiness and calibrate to your freedom. Is this helpful, Valerie? Is this helpful, everybody? So habits, I think we did one about habits, how long ago? It's been a while ago. And addiction, it's all the same. It's all the same. And it starts with awareness and an acknowledgement. Is it making me feel unworthy? Is it making me feel unfree? Is it making me feel unhappy? And then let's just calibrate to appreciating that this is teaching me. I'm growing from this. Valerie, your addiction has been, even today, it's a conduit for all of us to grow and all of us to recognize within us, whether it's habits or bad habits that we're doing, how to free ourselves from it. So it's beautiful. And then let go and then surrender. Valerie, I find it hard to honor it because of the strong emotions, but I hope I can shift towards honor. I don't feel empowered admitting how big my addiction issues have been, even though I've been clean for 6+ months. Take your time. Take your time. Your avenue is through your emotions, and label those strong emotions. Write them down right now in front of us and honor the anger. So we don't have to honor your addiction, but honor your emotions. Addiction is a way to numb out feelings. So now you're strong enough to be sitting and feeling it and growing in your feelings. I don't feel empowered. How can we feel empowered? If I ask you to look at your emotions and honor your emotions, can you feel empowered that you're able to look at your emotions and hold them and feel them and be in them? So how can we shift you're not feeling empowered to feeling empowered? Not intellectually, emotionally. What is it that you can be doing that you could feel that you're empowered towards moving and staying clean? Clean. You are clean. Everything now, you are clean. You're aligned with your power. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Shame. I don't feel empowered. That's shame, admitting how much my addiction. You might just need to keep sitting in your shame, Valerie, and seeing where your shame came from. Just keep sitting in your shame. I had to keep sitting in my shame and feeling my shame and acknowledging my shame. Yeah, I honor my anger. I honor my shame. I honor my sadness. I honor my judgment. I honor my disappointment. I honor my truth. Yes, sit with the feelings. Sit with it. Sit with it. Sit with it. Sit with it. And take the lens that you're empowered right now to sit with these feelings until they start to shift. Neil, do we need to clean the hurt before we leave this dependency? We need to acknowledge it enough for it to be able to shift. So right now we're talking to Valerie, and there's a lot of anger, shame, sadness, judgment, disappointment. There's a lot of it. And so it's not just gonna happen immediately. Some things can, and I never like putting time. You guys know that I think that time is a limiting consciousness and a belief consciousness. I don't like labeling it time, and I always say give the time that's best for its highest good. Give the time that's best for it. So we're not going to limit it to time, but you have to honor your feelings in enough that it's able to shift. And sometimes it's by looking and focusing on the issue itself, and sometimes it's calibrating to something else. So if Valerie, it seems like she's ready to take on the feelings of addiction, but if you're not, you can focus on elements in your life where you do feel empowered. So right now, Valerie said, I don't feel empowered. And I said, well, how can you feel empowered? And maybe she can't feel empowered about the addiction, but she can find an area, and Valerie, see if you can, and all of us, an area in your life that you do feel empowered. And so you just keep shifting your lens. For those of you that were on my live stream that said, what was it called? But it was about shifting the lens from the egoic, mental, emotional, and physical, or the physical, emotional, mental, and or egoic, sometimes you have to look at what's going on in your physical body to feel good, and sometimes you got to go emotionally, egoically. So knowing about the 4 bodies and then shifting. So right now, if Valerie's having too much trouble with and I'm talking about you, Valerie, in 3rd person, but I want to talk to you also in 1st person. I hope it's okay that I'm flipping between you in 3rd person and 1st person. But Valerie, if the emotions are too hard sometimes, then flip to the egoic. I know I'm a spirit. I know I'm a child, whatever it is might be. I'm energy. I'm from a child of God. I am part of the universe. I'm nature, whatever it might be. And shift to the empowering beliefs if the emotional is overcome or your physical is overcome. So I don't know, Neil, if that answers or not. And you guys, some things scrolled without me speaking to it. So if I should say it, put it back in the window if I didn't speak to anything. As my life, the issue is not more, but habits still there. What type of habits, Neil? Give me more insight and tell me how you feel about it. Valerie, absolutely. Thank you for all taking this time to listen, this safe space for me to share. This is a safe space for all of us, and we are all learning from this. Now, even Neil is asking about his habits because of what we're talking about, addiction. It's all the same thing. Today, we're talking about the same thing that we talked about with death. We're talking about worthiness. We're talking about freedom. We're talking about self-love. We're talking about the bodies. It's all the same thing. It's just different topics make us think about it in different ways. We're like, oh, I'm creative. And you're like, oh, what does creative mean? Oh, it's actually flowing with life and being connected with the spiritual and honoring my physical, but I don't honor my physical. Oh, okay. And then we just sort of get at it from different ways. So I think it's fantastic. Neil, give me more information so we can sort of figure out how we can empower you and what it is that you're looking for. Sporty Chen, yes, I think if you feel a resistance, then you need to go there. You need to be honest with yourself. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You need to be honest with yourself. No one else. You can't heal if you don't clean the wound. Yes, and we're not always ready to deal with it head on. So just honor that things just might need to take the time that it needs to take the time. So we're not going to assert the healing. It's a journey. It's sort of like what we were talking about with mourning and grieving. It's sort of just being in the feeling. And when you start to feel that awakening of shame, you acknowledge it, and then you sort of taste it. And then you say, well, I'm going to be aligned with my inner power. And then you start to focus in a different way. And then, and you just sort of keep coming between playing with your awareness of how you're feeling and then your desire to focus in a more powerful way. And you just sort of play. Okay, Neil, smoking weed. I got hooked while job losses and family drama. Okay, beautiful. So you call it a habit. Do you want to call it something greater than that? What is the impact on it on your life? And do you want to speak to it in a different way to empower you? Not to disempower you. How is it impacting you? How are you feeling? What is it bringing up in you? How do you feel before you do it? How do you feel after do it? How do you feel it while you're doing it? Why are you doing it? Not doing great in job and family is with good boundaries, but still weed is a big part of me. Fantastic. So why are you doing it? What are you escaping from? If I can make the assumption. I don't like to assume because it gets me in trouble, but what are you escaping from? Valerie, that's my addiction too, Neil. Thank you for being open with us. It helps me too. Yeah, you guys, this is all fantastic. This is our private, we talk and I do put these in different places, but you guys are all like with your first names. So they do go and they do become public later. But we're all with first names and I think our identities are still not there. But anyway, nothing doing great in job. Is with good. I read that. Feeling good, I guess, and be myself. What? Okay, wait a second. Come back to me for a second. Why do you do it? And Valerie, answer it. And everybody else that uses something to hide from how they're feeling or that they want to break away from, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Eliza, to not feel as much. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. To numb ourselves. Can I say that? To numb ourselves. Beautiful. Why else are we doing it? We self-soothe through our addictive behaviors. Adverse childhood events lead us to react to failure, to future events in the same way. For disconnecting from chatter, the chatter of your mind, beautiful. It made me charismatic and happy. So worthiness, it made me better. And it gave me false happiness. Short-term versus long-term, beautiful. Kim, escape. Ray, substitutions, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. You guys, this is so powerful. I feel like I want to cry. I think this is so beautiful. Okay, you guys bring me to tears all the time. This is so beautiful, so powerful. For me, I needed to escape from my eating disorder. Beautiful, another form of control. I wasn't eating and self-harming as well, and replaced this with smoking weed, dealing with what came up emotionally. Beautiful. So everything that we're saying, guys, is that we weren't comfortable feeling our bodies. We weren't comfortable feeling our pain. Like, they're breaking me into tears. We're not comfortable being ourselves. That we have to. We're not comfortable with our minds. We're not comfortable with our bodies. We're not comfortable with our hearts and our feelings. And that's because we're in a world that is bombarding us with images and things of us not being good enough. And that's the worthiness. We're in a world that we feel trapped and we're not free. We're in a world where we weren't taught to love ourselves. Eliza, always being judged in this world. Looking external to us, taking those externals. Sporty Jen, when I was much younger, I used to binge drink and then I started to excessively eat. Beautiful. You guys, it's all control and it's all our lack of, I'm not going to say willingness. I'm going to say ability. It's our lack of ability to feel our feelings and to honor them. That we have to numb our minds, our feelings, our emotions, our experiences, our stories, because we've never been able to speak to them from a place of safety. Numb the pain rather than feeling it. And that's the liberation in the play that we do together. We're going into the body and feeling everything. Feeling everything. Feeling it and acknowledging it and recognizing, oh, shit. I hate when I say that word, guys. I don't feel worthy. Oh, none of us do. It's all what we're calibrating to. Even the teacher, I use that word least loosely, that's mine. Worthiness, freedom, love. It's all of ours. This is what we're here for. We are born unconditionally, infinitely worthy and free and loved. We are born. We come in as the purest source. Our parents are amazing, and their parents are amazing. Their parents are amazing. But they were conditioned like we are. And their conditioning was layered on top of ours, and theirs on top of ours, and theirs on top of ours, because of the architecture and design of this human journey. So let's have fun in our play of being willing to feel and to celebrate the feelings of anger, of sadness, of betrayal, of shame, of guilt. Let's enjoy that journey. Valerie, let's look at all of your emotions, and Neil and Eliza and everybody. Let's look at them and start to celebrate them and recognize, oh, I had turned off my feedback system. Our emotions are a feedback system. Oh, wow. I turned off my feedback system in lieu of external substances to numb myself out. And you know what? I'm going to start to value my feedback system, and my feedback system is going to be giving me tons of feedback because I hadn't listened to it. It's almost like, okay, another analogy, guys. This your security system. And your security system is going to tell you that there's an opening on door 1 and door 2 and door 5 and door 7 and your window is here and this is cracked. And then you ignore it. And then you go back and you're like, ooh, I ignored my security system. And there's like hundreds of messages. If you have a good security system, you could just press button and clear all. And in some aspects, we can do a clear all, but humans and human nature isn't a clear all. We're not a clear all. So we're going to go through into your feedback system. Neil, yeah, sometimes we don't want feedback. Life is sloppy and sometimes it hurts and sometimes we don't know it and sometimes we don't get it. But then it's going to start to build up and build up and build up and build up. It's going to build up. And then you're going to avoid it. Then you're going to have pain of it. And like, I mean, ask Sporty Jen, how much time has she spent avoiding feeling how she felt about her brother? And ask her if it served her or didn't serve her. And Sporty Jen, I hope I don't mind picking on you, but you've been speaking openly. Ask Valerie, ask you, how long have you guys been ignoring your feedback system? All of you tell us. How long have you been ignoring the elephant in the room? And has it been getting better or worse? Sporty Jen, a long time. And was it getting better or worse? Ignoring your feedback system, did it get better or worse? Avoiding just makes things worse because then I have a whole bunch of emotions and don't know which one to start with. Beautiful. Beautiful. Neil, you tell us, is it better when you ignore it or worse? And you guys know me, the emotional, when it gets suppressed, it kind of turns into physical. It turns into illness. It turns into a autoimmune. I mean, so many people have different autoimmunes these days. It's because we've suppressed all of our emotional energy and it has to come out some way. Worse, I filter, not process. Beautiful. I ignore all chatters, but not emotions. So Neil, tell me, you ignore your chatter in your mind or your emotions? Because you know what, you did say a few times that it has to do with your mind and there might be a acceptance and a love of your mind. And is your chatter self-deprecating? Is your chatter putting you down? Maybe we need to look a bit more at your mind to see what that relationship is. So what is your mind doing? What's all the chatter? Is the chatter your chatter or external chatter? Give us more to chew on. You guys, this is so powerful. And today it's about creativity. Can you see how we got here from creativity? You guys are amazing. You are amazing. So amazing. So incredible. We're talking about creativity and we get through all of this stuff. Yes, Valerie, today it's so incredibly powerful. You guys are so powerful. Feeling good always. I guess old hurt and mind drama. Okay, Neil, if you're feeling good always, then what are you using for? There's something that I'd like you to share with you, not with us, but with you. There's things that aren't adding up. Sporty Jen, we're also creative today. Yes, we are also creative today. Neil, there's something that I want you to come to bring to the surface. What's the old hurt and the mind drama? There's something still of a pain that I feel like you're not seeing it or saying it or feeling it that will help liberate you. I'm glad you mentioned autoimmune. I have so many unexplained health issues. Yeah, I did too, Meg, until I started eating clean, feeling clean, doing clean, and then I felt and started to get into equilibrium. So it's all of this. We've got to feel our emotional bodies and go through our stories for us to get cream. Family drama is still going on in my mind. Okay, beautiful. So there is something, the mind, judgments, beautiful. Judgments on you or judgments on others? On me. Okay, beautiful. And all of these family drama and the judgments, what do they make you feel? What do they make you feel? And everybody join in if you can relate. What are the stories that are going on in your mind? And how does it make you feel? Beautiful. Meg, paralyzing. Meg, I'm here. I'm with you there. Neil, it's paralyzing. Neil, anger, hurt, and resistance. Okay. Meg and Neil, that's what I want you guys to zero in on. So Neil, you said, I feel good always. No. There's anger, hurt, and resistance because of judgment that you feel that you are feeling. Sit with that. See it. Feel it. Recognize it. Put it on a platter and honor it. Sort of go into it. Recognize it. And the whole point isn't to hold it, so you could let it go. And then I'm going to ask you something. What does it not make you feel? Worthy? Is it about your freedom? This judgment, is it not making you make free from being who you are? Or does it make you not feel worthy of who you are? Or is it keeping you from being the happy man that you want to be? Tell me what those judgments are. And Meg, you as well. Paralyzing. Paralyzing is keeping you from flowing. It's keeping you from moving. Tell me what it's keeping you from. And everybody else that sort of this is relating to. Talk. What is it keeping you from? Because it's only when we can acknowledge what this resistance is pointing us towards where we find our freedom and we can let it go. Judgment that you feel about feeling that feeling, that's what you just said. Judgment that you feel about feeling that feeling, that's what you said. I said that, Steve? Explain to me. Steve, you always go so deep. Judgment that you feel about feeling that feeling, that's what you just said. Well, anytime we put resistance on resistance, there's just more resistance. So we've got a judgment that we think that people are holding on us. That makes us feel bad, and then we feel bad about feeling that, and then we feel good, or try to feel good. Boom. There's all of this judgment that we have. All of this resistance, layers and layers and layers of resistant cake. What we want to do is shift it to acceptance, acceptance, acceptance. The only way we could shift it to acceptance layers is by letting go of the resistance. I see the judgment. I see that I'm very, I see, and accept. Sporty Jen, I've had chronic pain for years and it's getting worse. I know that's my brain distracting me from all of the hurt and sadness. Yes, it will start to get better. You will start to figure out, as you start to go into your emotional pain, you'll start to feel that chronic pain go away. And when we keep ignoring our emotional pain, it starts to go into physical pain, and it starts to go into chronic pain. And what it is your body saying, see me, see me, see me, see me. Let's start seeing it before it gets there. And if it's there, just working our way out of it. Steve, yep, I get it. I understand that. Beautiful. That it's all the resistance on the resistance. Neil, beautiful. Freedom of being me. Freedom. So very different than my family structure. Beautiful. So even that very different than my family structure is freedom and worthiness. That even though you're different, you're still worthy. That, it's really interesting because one of my nieces has different complexion and color than us. And she didn't feel, this is a long time ago story, like part of the family because she didn't look and match the family. And so that's a worthiness. Like, am I of this blood? So when you're acting different and you are different, then that's a sense of worthiness and then freedom of being me. So Neil, fantastic. So just keep looking at that and keep recognizing that and keep seeing, oh no, I'm free to be me. Oh, I see that resistance, and that resistance is helping me to calibrate to my full worthiness and my full freedom and my full amazingness. Neil, is this resonating? Because I'm saying things intellectually, but I want it to shift emotionally. Is it resonating? Steve, yes, that nobody says it like that. It helped me feel what I was feeling. Fantastic. So Steve, you're getting more free? is your ability to look at all of these resistant layers enabling you get free, because that's what our play is together, guys, for us all to tell stories that resonates so we can all start to get free together. Beautiful, Neil, beautiful, beautiful. Now, if you can see that you're in a trap of proving your worthiness and still trying to move there, that's powerful. That step one is the awareness. And that, you guys, I've said a million times, is the hardest step. It's the hardest step of being aware. When Valerie, I know you know I'm not picking on you and we're all trying to have fun here. When she says, I'm an addict and it hurts, that willingness to say and acknowledge something and be aware of something so powerfully painful is so powerful. So when you say that I'm trying to prove my worthiness, and you see yourself in the mirror and say, oh, look, there I am again trying to prove my worthiness, that is fascinatingly powerful. Powerful. And that is where you'll start to free yourself. How many of us are trying to prove our worthiness? How many of us are looking and living life trying to prove our worthiness? Instead of doing it without acknowledging it because we think it makes us more unworthy, let's just look at it and acknowledge it and say, oh, I'm on this human journey, and look, my conditioning and my patterning is proving me, taking me back there. But I actually want to work too, that I know that I'm worthy. My premise is on an egoic level. Neil and everybody, do you all honor that on the egoic level that we are all worthy, we're all free, and we're all happy? Do we need to have that discussion today, or is everybody that accepting of that premise? And then again, that's where I'm talking about top down, bottoms up approach. That when you realize that in your physicality that I'm trying to prove my worthiness, and then you come back and say, oh wow, I see that. I see my physical Neil. I see my baby Neil. I see my inner child Neil. I see my amazing Neil. But then my egoic Neil is going to remind you, oh no, I'm worthy. I see that we're playing that game and that we're in that Chinese toy that I talked about, and there's the resistance to my worthiness, but I'm going to surrender and let go, because I recognize just by virtue of being me and human, I'm worthy. And I recognize that this is just helping me calibrate to that truth of my worthiness. It's guiding me to my recognition of my worthiness. Yeah? Powerful? Good? Steve, not all feelings are emotions, right? Yeah, there's a thing about a feeling, the difference between feelings and emotions. And emotions are the emitting of it on the heart level, and the feelings are how we're feeling it physically. And you might feel a prick, and that prick is not necessarily an emotion. So there is, and I am sloppy in using them interchangeably. And sometimes I'm like, it's okay to be sloppy, and sometimes it's not okay to be sloppy. So the feelings is on your physical level, on your feeling level, on your body level. The emotions are on your heart level. And the emotion might be angry, and the feeling of it is tension. And we also say, I feel angry, and that is assumed of a feeling, but everybody might feel that differently, but the anger is the emotion. Did that resonate? So no, not all feelings are emotions. And I guide us during our meditations to sometimes feel our body, let's go into our body, and sometimes to look at the emotions. And sometimes start in the mind. Like Neil, when we kept going around in circles, I realized, oh, Neil's starting up here in his mind, actually, not in his heart and his body. So Neil was telling a story that kept talking about family drama, and then boom, we were able to then break it down. So some people, their stories are going to start here in their mind. Some people, it's going to be in the emotion. I feel sad, I feel angry. And some people, it's in their body, feeling the tension, feeling numbness. I feel this in the pit of my stomach. So I'm sloppy. I use feelings and emotions interchangeably. They are significantly different, but very directly correlated. Does that answer your question, Steve? Meg says yes. So fantastic. Mind, body, emotion. Ray, I always go in between. It depends. It really depends. it depends. Like, I feel like the heart is the command center. And the heart, even today when I did my preamble, here's my notes for today. Here's my notes for how we were preparing for today. And we didn't even go on topic with most of it. But our heart is the command center. Everything above that, again, when I look at chakras, because I do really enjoy breaking it down by how I love the chakras, and I love the way of defining that body, our body in that way. The throat, the third eye, and the crown, all connection to spiritual and greater. And the below the heart is your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root, and that's connected to physical. So in that mind, then I would say it's heart, spiritual, and physical. But you didn't ask that. You said mind, body, emotion. Okay, what are you asking? Are you asking, does your mind then hurt the body and the emotion? It just depends. Remember, were you there on Tuesday when we talked about what came first, the emotion or the thought? What came first, the thought or the emotion? It just depends. Some people are going to be more mind oriented and it starts here. Some people are going to be emotionally responsive. It starts here. And some people it's body. And sometimes you walk into a room and you feel the energy and it makes you need to leave or do something. Sometimes a thought comes in and you act from that. So it really depends. But I believe that the heart is the center, the command center. And the more that we can be heart activated and allowing and accepting, the more powerful we are. And then with the mind, body, emotion, it doesn't also include the egoic level, which I think the egoic level is the most, one of the most, they're all important. I hate when I say one is more important than the other, but the egoic level is the level that sort of can allow us to set the foundation for what we want. Being creative, being a creator, being purposeful, being worthy, being free. This is the one that blows us up to bigger, that really has a powerful way to calibrate the other. So I answered that question in all different ways. I just hear a lot about mind-body connection. Ray, I think the mind-body connection is really about being aware of what your mind is feeling, your body is feeling, your emotions, and I like to add the egoic level. So, and sometimes they're in different orders, and it's our awareness. Is my mind leading? Is my heart leading? Are my beliefs leading? Are they limiting beliefs? Are they limiting thoughts? Are they limiting emotions? Is my body, am I limiting my body? And just sort of understanding the alignment between the four to empower you. Ray, tell me if I answered that. Steve, holy crap, I'm going to write that down. I think that was talking about the difference between feelings and emotions. That's intense. You're fine, not sloppy. Thank you. And then she's right. I think that's me about something, but okay. Boom, boom, sporty Jen. Does it depend on how raw the emotion is? Does what depend on how raw the emotion is? On the order or what? Is that vagus nerve attached to any of this? Do you know? I'm just asking. No, I don't know. People are talking about this a lot. I just want to get healthy. No, I think I heard about it the other day, but I will look into it to be able to answer that better. Yes, Ray, yeah, it answered. To me, it all is about, yes, there are different elements to our body. We've got, and we need to be aware of them. In the Reiki world, they call it PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. In some places, they call mind, body, emotion. Different people are saying it, but the whole point it is to recognize there's different bodies. I like saying 4 bodies, and in Reiki and a lot of that sort of Eastern level, like I said, they call it PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And then I like to call it egoic, and it's connection to spiritual. And I believe it's really important that a lot of people aren't talking about where our identity is, because if we can calibrate to truth, universal truth, then it helps calibrate all of these other things. Good, good, good. Deborah, the vagus nerve is the gut-brain axis. The gut is the second brain. Yeah, and actually, in again with the chakras, the solar plexus, they consider that part of the mind, and that the solar plexus is the connection with the mind. And I do also consider that the gut and the brain are so connected. We're one body. We're one body. How can we honor ourselves as one and treat our abdomen and our toe as a singular unit? But I will read more about the vagus nerve, and it is fascinating, and it's fascinating. Our bodies are fascinating, and we're fascinating. So we are fascinating. Sporty Jen, where it comes out, what comes out? Does it depend on how raw the emotion is, where it comes out? Oh, okay, you're talking about emotion again. I think it depends on your awareness of your emotion, because I can imagine some people reacting emotionally in very strong ways, but if you're not willing to become aware of why you're doing it, what's associated, what's going on, then that output is just a way that your body is letting you let it out because it can't keep it in your body anymore. So I don't know if it's the rawness of it. I think it's more of your ability and your willingness to process that's most important. So if somebody can have a small emotional reaction and be able to recognize, oh, where did that come from? Oh, that's my judgment on myself. And wow, look, I'm feeling not worthy. And wow, I'm going to let that go and recognize and sort of go through that and let it go. That's a really powerful emotional response. Now, another person can just burst out with anger and just let things out. And it's their way and their body's way of letting energy come out that needs to come out. But there might not be that spiritual growth with that. So Sporty Jen, did I answer your question? Because I sort of inferred it a bit. Deborah, gives new meaning to a gut feeling. We often feel it in our gut, that gut knows. Yes, absolutely. And the intuition, which is the third eye, sometimes people feel it in their gut. Sometimes it's a gut reaction. And in some of my meditations, I guide you to like, what is your intuition? Is it from knowing? Is it coming from here in your mind? Or is it whether that you know? And it's also one of the ways that I get people to admit that they're more spiritual than they are, because people will not believe in energy or not feel that they have other intuitions. And I'm like, well, do you ever get gut feelings? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what this work is all about. It's about knowing something on a higher level than things that are coming on the physical plane. So they're so interesting that there are certain words that all of us will agree to and understand and relate to, even though they might not be entertaining, engaging, sort of a spiritual awareness or emotional awareness. But then when you use some of these like traditional sayings, like human sayings, that it's like, oh, you do believe in energy because you do talk about your instinct or your gut feeling. And so it's sort of, for me, a segue into people recognizing that there's more to the world than they see, and that they can actually see that. Beautiful. So the gut is like an alarm triggering an emotion to process the feeling. Yes, the gut is, the heart is, the throat is, the third eye is, all of our body is. And it's so funny that creativity, like I said, it started off in the sacral, in the second chakra, but then when I looked at it, it's like, it's alignment of your whole body. It's a physical expression of your spiritual connection. That when you're physically aligned and you're physically honoring yourself and you're physically feeling good and you let go of judgments and let go of shame and just feel good, like Neil says, I feel good, and you're aligned in your physical, and you just open up your heart to love and compassion, and you're connected on a higher being, then allowing and flow and creativity and trust and everything just lines up in the most amazing way. So honor ourselves, honor our bodies, honor our minds, honor our emotions. And different people are going to have different mechanisms to get them to the honor. We all have our different stories, but look at today and how we related on every level with each other. Even though we have different stories that got us to where we are, we all relate to each other on the human level. We all absolutely relate to each other on the human level. And we are all unbelievably creative. Okay, guys, we're at the 135 mark. How is everybody feeling? Are you feeling empowered? Are you feeling free? Are you feeling creative? Is there any emotion that anybody feels lingering or unaddressed? Is there any comment that anybody said that I didn't address, and that you would, or anything that you said that I didn't address adequately or didn't resonate with you in any way? Sporty Jen says she's feeling really good. I have hope. It's your birthday. I love birthdays. I absolutely love birthdays. So happy birthday. And hope is fantastic. Hope is fantastic. Hope is beautiful, and it is fantastic. And the one up from hope is knowing. But hope is beautiful, and hope has such a beautiful, wonderful, liberating taste to it. Steve, I feel like I'm in a river and I need a tube. I don't mean bad though. Tell me what you mean and tell me what it feels like. Sporty Chen also has an inkling of knowing. Steve, I like it. Swirling, lots of energy, good. Beautiful. And are you moving, flowing with the river or against the river? Eliza asks, or are you just floating? Flowing, good. With the river, against the river? And the swirling, lots of energy. Is it your energy or external energy? Rose, I find that painting and using colorful drips allows the critic voice to be entertained a while so that we can give heart a chance to speak. Creatively needs to be practiced to open this heart-centered voice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I find that painting and using colorful drips allows the critic voice to be entertained a while so that we can give heart a chance to speak. Beautiful. This is how you express yourself, with paint and colorful drips. Creatively needs to be practiced to open this heart-centered voice. Beautiful, Rose. Absolutely beautiful. And I love your profile pic beside it. It's beautiful green. I don't know what it is, but the vibrant colors. Steve, it feels like both trying to align, just very new. Is it a positive feeling? Like it feels like there's so much for you to go with? Or is it a scary feeling? Or is it a feeling out of control? I mean, what I got when you said it is that you're flowing and you want to feel supported. So you're going with a strong energy. I felt like it sounded like you were going with the flow, which I really liked. And you said energy, which I really liked. Both yours and other energy, which is fine. I want it more to be yours and to let out the external. And maybe that's why you need to feel supported, because of the other external energy. Trying to align, just very new. Which fantastic. I like what you're saying, Steve. Let's see whether or not we can align with your energy and whether or not you can feel supported. What can you feel supported by? For example, I feel supported by the universe, by nature, by God. Like I said, they're all synonyms for me. Inner power, inner being. What is it that you can feel that you're supported by? Valerie, today was incredible, Manal and everyone. I feel so connected. I feel exhausted mostly. Thank you again for letting me share. It's been a long one today. I'm eating dinner now. I'll keep trying to honor my emotions. Fantastic, Valerie. And if I can just play with one thing, I'd say just remove the trying and I'll keep honoring my emotions. I'll keep honoring my emotions. Rose, thanks. My picture has my intentional creativity muse painted in background. It's beautiful. Sporty Jen is telling Valerie to enjoy her dinner. Rose came late. Well, we hope we come again. I booked out for all of September, you guys. So I've got everything on there. I wrote down on Tuesday, we're talking about procrastination. On Thursday, holding space for others' pain. Thursday, or the next Tuesday after that, forgiveness. And the Thursday after that, how about crafting your life? So we've got a full September. I might do something for this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I have not decided yet. But I will, I guess, look on Attaining Your Authentic Life, join the group Attaining Your Authentic Life, and also follow me, and you'll see when I create something. Steve, it feels positive, just new. Good. Never really felt emotions before. It feels boundless like new feet. Beautiful. That's fine. That's fine. That's exactly what it is. I don't want anybody going through anything faster, then that's what's for your highest good. And our introduction to emotions and feelings is new for some people. Some people have overwhelming felt them, but haven't really recognized how to use them as a tool for their calibration. And we will keep playing until we are all masters of our emotions, masters of our feedback system. Deborah, this has been invigorating and heart expanding. And Valerie said she is going to honor her emotions. Yendi, really amazing work, beautiful souls. Yes, Yendi, really amazing, beautiful souls. Really, oh, right, really amazing play, beautiful souls. Yes, yes, yes. This has been wonderful play. Brilliant topics, Manal. You guys actually, I think it was the week before that everybody came up with these topics. So I just came up with the play on the names, but it was the topics were brought out by all of you. So if there's any topics, please let me know and put them on. Today, tell me what you think and what you would like, because every topic, like I said, brings us in, and we talk about the same principles, but it brings us into different growth and awareness. And today has been truly amazing. I love these chats with you in the group. Sporty Jen, thank you. And I feel the same way, and honored that on your birthday that you will be here with all of us. Deborah, the beautiful trees, where are you located? This is the Umstead Park in Raleigh, North Carolina behind me. Thank you. I love them too. I love my trees. Thank you, Neil, for the donation. Appreciate it. You guys are all amazing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When I just speak to the camera, it does not have as much life and spirit and excitement and feeling as when you're all here. And it's your truths and your stories and your experiences and your feelings and your emotions and your minds and your beliefs and your desire for living a life of happiness. Your desire for your worthiness and your desire for freedom that is felt. And allow us to come and find and share the truths of our beauty, the truths of our brilliance, the truths of our courage, of our radiance, of our love, of our worthiness, of our freedom, of our human, of our creativity. And I thank every single one of you for being here and sharing and loving and supporting and just creating together. So I hope to see you if I schedule something this weekend. If not, Tuesday. Steve, there's no button to like people's comments. No, there isn't, because it would be nice, because everybody does. There's some brilliant comments. I love the hearts. You guys know the hearts when they come to the side, particularly when I'm talking and there's no comments and then the hearts come up. I'm like, oh, I love the hearts, because it just feels like I'm connecting and resonating, and they're just so beautiful. So you're all brilliant. If there's nothing else, I'm going to end with my ending clause. I'll pause a moment for any comments, suggestions, future topics. I see the hearts. Okay, you guys are all brilliant. I love you so much. Until next time, Sporty Jen, to you too. Until next time, I love you all. My love, always.